Hello and welcome to the E14 Gamecast, Emotionally 14's gaming podcast. That's it. That's the whole premise.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
I concur.
Yeah,
I like it. See you next time.
Yeah. Hope you enjoyed that.
So I'm Rob Wade. I'm joined by Blake Harmer.
What's up?
And Omer Ibrahim.
Soup.
Hello, guys. How you all doing? Good?
Yeah, good.
Yeah,
Fine.
good.
Warm.
Excellent. So this is episode number 25. So we've been going for... It would have been half a year had we ever got any sort of regular schedule going. But as it is, it's probably year 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it goes. So I have just before we start talking games, I have a quick review to read.
Ooh, tasty.
So this comes from the Minutia Men from the United States. They're a podcast based out of America.
Okay.
That's where the United States is.
Correct.
Or
yes.
is America in the United States?
I looked
I'll
it
let
up in
them
a
debate
book.
that. In a book?
Yeah.
Was that book round and did it have the world painted on it?
Yes. You've got one too.
I have, yeah. It's got a glob.
So if you want to review the podcasts in a similar way to the Minutia Men, then you can find us on iTunes. You can search the Emotionally 14 Gamecast, the E14 Gamecast on iTunes, or search Emotionally 14. You can find it on Stitcher, and you can also leave comments on YouTube. Obviously calling us Hitler because that's what's the dumb
YouTube
thing.
is for.
Yeah.
So they gave us a 5-star review, which is very jolly lovely of them.
Thank you.
And they said, great content. Even if you're not a gamer, this podcast is very well done. Kept my interest the whole way through.
Nice.
So for a non-gamer, that's pretty good. Pretty good
Because
stuff.
you've got one of those on the show today. I mean, what have you played? I don't know. I fiddled about on my phone a little bit. Scrabble's all right. Scrabble? I meant solitaire.
Word. Solitaire with friends.
Solitaire with...
Don't
what?
question it. But so that was very very kind
Thank
of
you.
them, and I don't know. This will be out before the Crazy Train, so I will say again, as I did there, if you enjoy podcasts about trivia and just generally kind of entertaining banter and sort of interplay,
Working out where
Minutia Men is a great place to go. So you can find them on iTunes
Thanks
as well.
for the review. Glad you appreciate all my hard work.
Yeah, that's it.
Pending.
If you want to review us, then I've already told you where to go. So don't tell me I haven't, because then you'll be lying.
I'll tell you where to go.
So, just on a quick one, E3 just been and gone.
Yeah.
Anything kind of massively interest you or surprise you, or
The E.
The E?
Yeah, the 3 was shit, but I liked the E.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did not keep up with it.
I'm
assuming they went well. There might not have been an E, I'm not sure.
No, you hit that well.
I did E.
Yeah.
Personally, I maybe I'm being a little bit harsh, but I just found, to be honest, in general, most of the announcements a bit disappointing.
Maybe I'm just being a bit harsh, but I hate all games.
Yeah. I don't know why I'm on it.
I liked Mario once, turned out to be a cunt.
Yeah.
No, see, I don't normally keep up with it, but if something big comes out, it'll obviously catch my attention.
Yeah.
And it all kind of passed me by, so I'm guessing there wasn't anything huge.
No, that's the thing.
would've
It was
caught me.
it was fairly safe, I think.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
I think part of the problem is a lot of the stuff that got announced, for the most part, was sequels to existing good properties. So
Yeah.
you go, I'll buy that, but it doesn't make you go, oh my god, it's Wolfenstein 2.
Yeah, I saw the
Yeah.
trailer for WWE 2K18 today.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was announced at E3. I doubt it. It's one of those games you don't really announce. You just know they're getting a new one every year.
Yeah,
You're like,
it was today because they announced the cover star.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
was
It's like announcing the next FIFA game. Like, it'd be news if you announced it wasn't coming out. You don't need to announce it. I just assume FIFA
exactly,
23 is coming out.
I think they do a FIFA thing at E3, don't they?
yeah,
It seems just like a point.
EA do
You've got to
show
announce
off
something
their
that's in it,
games.
Yeah.
rather than just announce it.
2K don't have their own panel, so maybe they just do it on the sly.
To be fair, EA do, well, EA
Trade show.
EA do an announcement every year.
Yeah.
Here's
They
what
do
we're up to.
they do their own show like Microsoft and Sony do.
Yeah.
And seeing as 50% of their games are sports games, they do obviously talk about that. Obviously, Battlefront 2 does look great.
Yes,
but,
yes, it does.
But as I said, it was safe because I was like going, oh yeah, it's all that, and I was like, oh, it's nice that they're using all the generations. So you've got obviously all the movies involved now and all that. But as I said, it's still Battlefront, and I'm still I know I'll enjoy it, but there's nothing that made me go, oh wow,
Yeah.
you know.
I was looking at Battlefront 2 because I love the old PlayStation games, right? The PlayStation 2 games. And I loved it, and then the new Battlefront came out, and I was like, okay, this is different,
Yeah.
right? And at first I was a bit like, yeah, it's not going to be as good. And then I loved it. Absolutely adored it. And it looks like this next one is going to be closer to the originals. And a little bit of me's going the other way, like, I kind of wanted more of the new thing.
Okay. Yeah, because I know the general consensus that I read is that a lot of people didn't seem to like
a lot of
the
people say
most recent Battlefront.
The problem with it was that a lot of people felt it came out partially finished because a lot of the stuff that ended up being, some of it ended up being free, just didn't get done in time for the game.
Yeah, it was
and
weird.
You know, speaking from experience,
and also because they've added a single player in this one,
Yeah.
they've got, you know, there's all that. And the weirdest thing is that EA aren't charging anything for DLC.
I found the story mode like a single player's cool, right? It definitely needs it. But I thought for like the first big Star Wars single player in a while, right? Big story mode. I found it a little weird that they're going to follow the Imperials.
it is interesting.
I would have done like a Rebel one. I would have, if you let me do anything in game form, I would have gone between A New Hope and Empire, and it would have been like the finding of Hoth and the battles to get there.
Yeah,
That could have been a cool game, but I would definitely have thought. I would have either fought from the Imperial side, from the Rebel side.
I think the
or
reasoning that they're doing it is because they're going. I believe it's set after literally
Jedi.
it's after Jedi. So hopefully it will start to bridge the gaps a bit, and maybe that's why. Because I think if they set it from the rebellion side of it, they're a bit like, oh, we've won.
Yeah,
And it would be like, so at least carrying on the story from the Empire.
But that's the interesting thing, right? So they explored this a bit in the Aftermath books, the ones that were sort of set just after Jedi. A lot of stuff didn't change. So they blew up this big space station, they killed the Emperor.
But then again, why would it change?
Yeah, exactly.
It's
a joke that you got on Robot Chicken, isn't it? It's like, we've got thousands of ships. Just turn on the fire.
That was my favourite period in the old EU.
Yeah.
With the books, where you basically they cut the head off the snake and then thousands of heads sprouted,
So they had to go
and
and
all
fight
the
loads of
warlords
warlords,
grabbed their
yeah.
Star Destroyers and flew into the space and hid.
That's why
And then they struck out, and I'm
that's
going to
why
be
you
the
got
next
like
Emperor. It was
Thrawn and all that.
amazing.
Yeah, it was brilliant.
I'd love to see that because you would have like for instance in Battlefield 1, right? So it's the Battlefront. Sorry, Battlefront is canon.
Yeah.
Even though you're doing stuff
To
that
a point.
didn't happen.
Like Battle
So
of
they
Jakku,
explained the
Battle
battle.
of Jakku is
Yeah. So
canon.
the Battle of
Yeah.
Hoth, right, is Outpost Beta.
Yeah.
That's not the outpost we see them fighting in the movie.
No.
So you can say, oh yeah, this is all totally
It's a
canon. It
real
just happened
location.
over there.
Yeah.
You didn't see this.
Yeah.
You didn't see this in the movie.
Oh, yeah,
That's cool.
Director
And-
Krennic shot Leia in the face. Yeah.
yeah. I guess bits like that are a bit
Yeah.
different. But you could say it was a clone. You could say it was a robot. You know, you could
Yeah,
you
who
could
knows,
explain
yeah.
that way. It's Star Wars, right?
Yeah.
But that's why I think you could do that period because you could be Wedge Antilles off fighting this Grand Admiral that splintered. You wouldn't have to be Luke.
Yeah.
Because actually Wedge is, I mean, Poe is Wedge. Come on. He's meant to be. That's the character that Wedge should have been.
That same
right?
sort of type, isn't he?
I could almost imagine a scenario where the actor didn't want to come back.
Yeah.
Because I love Wedge Antilles.
That's what I thought was the weirdest thing with Battlefront 2, though, is when they're showing it all off. I understand they're trying to show off the heroes and stuff like that in it, but when it did feel like, oh, we want to make this game feel like Star Wars and that.
Yeah.
Have a game with like battle droids fighting that, but then have Boba Fett and Han Solo turn up as heroes during the fight, and I was like, is there a way you can lock the heroes into their time frames?
Yeah, I know what you mean. So like you just turn, you turn up.
I understood when Maul turned up, but when Ray turned up, I was like, it's getting a bit jarring.
Yeah. There were a couple of bits like that.
Yeah.
There was loads of bits and bobs in that game that I would have moved in and out, but I'm glad we eventually got Chewbacca. But I wanted to just fight as a Wookiee.
Yeah.
You used to pick your class, and that was your
Yes. Yeah.
You were,
and this new one's going to have more classes and like, even like sport classes where you can be an officer, like issuing like puffs to people, even though you've only got like a pistol.
Yeah, that was what was cool about like the Wookiees, that you had massive damage and loads of health, but you can barely bloody move.
Yeah.
Which actually,
like
if
a
you
tank
watch Wookiees fighting in
About right.
no, if you watch them in Sith, they're just flinging themselves around like they're fast.
Yeah, but
because they're 7 foot plus tall and they stride.
Yeah.
So they can run and they can fling themselves through the trees and stuff. But maybe you could have a web slinging style thing for them in like Endor or something like that.
Spider Wookie.
Spiderbacker. That sounds like something illegal that you'd smoke.
Spiderbacker.
Spiderbacker.
Is that the new vaping?
Yeah.
Oh, the Spider-Man game looks
like
good.
Spider-Man game does.
That's a brand of Destiny. Oh yes, the
It's
Spider
a little
game.
bit. It does seem from the bits I saw quite quick time heavy.
It looked well to me. I think that was my problem. I was watching it, like even the fight between like 5-6 people. I went, that's obviously using Dark Knight's Arkham Knight's engine,
Which is fine.
which is fine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Perfectly
I have no
good.
problem with that.
Perfectly good
But it
engine.
was the whole your spider sense to counter attacks
Yeah,
and all
yeah.
that sort of thing. And I just went, well, that's pretty much what.
Bat sense.
I will forever hold it up against Spider-Man 2 on the PlayStation and the Xbox.
I think that's what I did. But I mean,
Probably the best superhero game of all time.
Yeah, I mean, have
Certainly
you
the
played
best
the
I've
Batman
played.
games?
Pardon?
Have you played the
I
Batman
have.
games?
Didn't like him as much. I didn't
Okay.
like. I think it was. I think that the Spider-Man 2 is the free roaming and the just. What do you want to do now? Do you want to fight bad guys? Do you want to do the main mission, or do you want to jump off a massive tower and see how close to the floor you can get?
That, please.
Yeah, exactly. Like, do some bullshit.
There's a few that are not official superhero games, but there might as well be, like Crackdown, Infamous,
Yeah.
things like
Yeah.
that. Are all
Yeah, they
basically
were.
and like Prototype. You can jump off a
did
building
play
and
some
elbow drop a tank.
Yes.
Like,
yeah.
why would you
I
not?
played that. I think I played Prototype. It's
a good game.
As it came out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
good
yeah.
game.
At a friend's house or something like that. That was
Prototype
cool.
2 not as good.
Yeah, that's what I
Prototype
played
1
it,
was
that's
Prototype 1 was really
I
good.
loved all the Infamous games.
Yeah,
They've all
likewise.
been good.
Even though Second Son's really short, I loved every second.
Second Son was my gripe was it's too short, but that wasn't definitely not a knock
I
at how
loved every
the quality
second
of the
I
game.
loved every second of
No,
it.
was
Some of
excellent.
the powers and stuff are amazing.
There's a
like neon and shit.
Viking horror game on the horizon. It's you can play the monster. Joe Crouch sent me a trailer for it sometime. I don't know if they mentioned that more at E3. It pops up every now and again. You know, Lad Bible put up a trailer for it.
Yeah.
It's like a horror game set in the Dark Ages, slightly fantastical by the looks of it. Obviously, 'cause
Okay.
it's a giant
Is it Project
Grendel-style
White?
monster. Pardon?
Project White?
No, I don't. No, that doesn't sound
It's
right.
literally described as a Viking horror game where you play the monster.
That's going to be it then. It sounds like a weird name, unless that's not the fucking
Unless
name.
it's not got a proper name.
Maybe
Yeah,
not,
it sounds like
yeah.
a weird name for a movie like that.
Maybe they just announced
Well,
it as a
a
Viking
white-
horror game.
So, yeah. That looks fun. I was just wondering if there was any more details from E3 or anything like that.
Not that I personally heard of, but I've not really.
That looks, like
But then
I
again,
think
there
you
were so many
evolve
mentions.
up by the more you eat
You
and
know,
stuff.
the things
You've got
I
evolved.
I like Evolve,
We-
yeah.
Yeah.
Weirdly, the things I was mostly excited about at E3 was the announcement of some release dates.
Yeah,
Like,
that's nice
I
to
would
know.
like sitting there going, "Oh, Nino Kuni has a release
be
date."
skint on that month.
Yeah, God of War's early next year.
That's pointing me towards. I've always said that my daughter is my PlayStation 4 because
Yeah.
I was looking to get one, and I was like,
But now she's older.
couple of weeks to
get a Pro.
maybe putting some money aside and getting one a month or so later, or waiting for the
Yeah.
sales. And then we found out we were pregnant, so I always say that my daughter was my PS4.
Yeah.
But they've dropped in price again now, and God of War is tempting me.
Yeah.
Because I
I'm
love
sure-
God of War
I'm
anyway,
sure
and they went, "Hey Omer, do you want some God of War games? Yeah, that'd be fun. They're only on PlayStation now. That's cool. I could get one, but you're gonna have to convince me. We've made him a Viking. Oh, I've gone hard. I've gone full mast. Big long ship mast. Yes, I'll buy a PlayStation 4. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much.
Do you take daughters as credit?
Actually, bizarrely, yes. It's an old bylaw and
Game have this weird thing.
bits
yeah.
of string and kitchen roll as well. Oh, well, do you know what? Actually, maybe I can. Can you take like half of her?
No, just
Make
think
the
of
rest up in string and
All right.
kitchen roll.
What's the king that famously tried to split the baby? We didn't try to split the baby in half. It was the argument, isn't it?
Oh,
Two children are arguing. Two mothers are arguing over. No, two mothers
make
are
sure
arguing.
you get
That's the
them-
story. That's the story.
Make
Two
sure
mothers-
you get the
Two children arguing over a sweet, so he rips a kid in half. There you go.
Don't fuck with me.
yeah. Make sure you
God.
get. Make sure you get the king right, because otherwise you get like.
It's not King Midas.
Yeah, that's what I was going to
Yeah,
say.
you don't
King
just turn the
Midas.
kids to
Two
gold.
kids are arguing, so you turn one of them into gold.
King
That way you got
Leonidas?
some
No.
fucking peace and
King
King
quiet.
Leonidas just stabbed 8 kids in
Yeah.
half a second. Yeah, it was.
Shut the fuck up.
Two mothers are arguing that a child is theirs, so the king says we should split the child in half. You can have half each. One mother says that's fine. The
King
other one
Ment-
says no, don't. The one who said no, don't was evidently
King
the real mother.
Mentalist.
That's the story. King
Mentalist.
Mentalist.
Yeah.
I think this is my child. I think this is my child. Well, I'm gonna fuck a wall.
Was it Louis Armstrong? I see
Yeah.
kids.
King
I
Midas.
see kids in hell.
King Midas. I knew I should have touched my cock.
It's all gone a bit wrong.
Solomon.
Here. King Solomon.
Solomon.
King Sodoman.
Sod the kids.
King Sodomy.
King
King
Solomon.
Solomon. That's it. Yeah.
King Solomon.
Yeah. He was playing King Solomon the Wise and all that, wasn't it? Yeah.
I see
Why the fuck
kids.
are we on about King Solomon and a gaming thing? Is there a
Why
King
is
Solomon
Louis
game?
Armstrong?
Is there a
The
King
wrong-
Solomon game
the
coming
wrong
out?
Basically, this has been the wrong podcast, because not only have we been gone off the rails, we've also been talking about Star Wars.
Because I'm fucking here. I don't know. I'm trying to just get you guys away from games I know nothing about. I'm playing Scrabble. No, wait, I've done it again. Solitaire.
Could not get this more wrong if we tried.
Oh, I can fucking try. The thing about minorities...
Don't start talking about kids. We'll be on the other podcast then.
Sad mothers too. Anyway, for me, most of the stuff that I was excited about for E3, I kind of watched the Microsoft conference. I didn't catch the others because Sony won stupid o'clock in the morning.
Yeah,
so you have to wake up to that.
Like a lot of the conferences, I think I always had the best intention of watching all the conferences properly.
Yeah,
I watched EA's one, and then because they're always on at stupid o'clock, and literally like all the websites like IGN, Eurogamer, those are posting minute by minute updates anyway. Yeah, I'm a bit like, oh fuck it, I'll just read it up later.
So I watched the Microsoft one. I caught the Sony highlights and I caught the Nintendo highlights.
Nintendo seemed to have had a good show.
Nintendo had a really good show. It makes me want to switch. So Mario Odyssey in itself, it looks fun.
Even I know what that fucking is.
But the main thing I found myself saying during the Microsoft one was, there's nothing that's absolutely blown me away, but there was loads of times where I went, oh, I'll buy that.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not saying
there's games I fancy buying, but there's nothing that made me go, oh my god,
I need that in my face now.
I think that's why I've been disappointed. There was no games that sort of came out that made me go, oh wow. It was all like, yeah, there's a lot of good games coming out. I mean, take Ubisoft even for example. Far Cry 5. I like the Far Cry games. I will get the new Far Cry game. Have they changed the template that much? Probably not, but I'll still end up playing it.
Yeah, as long as it's not like Primal.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Or shit Horizon, as it's
known.
It's now known, anyway. But back then, shit Horizon. What does that mean? I don't know yet.
Listen to episode 51 first, we'll explain it.
I mean, Assassin's Creed had so many leaks, I sort of knew that game before they'd really shown it. And then when they showed it, I was like, cool. Yep, looks like Assassin's Creed. I've played all the other Assassin's Creed, I probably will end up playing that one. You know,
you can jump off tall things.
Yeah, they've hit this spot of we're not going to change anything, and you'll. Well, I guess that's FIFA and everything as well. They changed a bit. I've not played them in a very long time, but they've got this very good stride of. I think if they change it too much, people wouldn't bother because they want to play that.
I mean, Call of Duty is the same, right?
Absolutely.
And I'm glad. And
don't get me wrong, I'm glad Assassin's Creed took a year off because it really needed to.
Yeah,
it was getting to the point where it was all buggy and messy, and if they spent the extra time to actually make this one good. I'm really looking forward to it.
I know when carry a blunderbuss around Paris.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Stealth.
Crouch's video of him playing that damn game.
Yeah.
I didn't even know him very well then. I think that video was like, oh, we're going to get on.
Yeah.
Because he does this forward roll, and then a guy like stamps on him, so he just stands up and blunderbusses him in the face at point blank range. I'm like, stealth. Nobody will know I'm here. I don't know why. Well, it's French, right? Yeah, works, isn't it? Yeah.
Toughness.
Toughness.
Did you say tapas?
Toughness.
That's not French, mate.
Nobody will know I'm here.
Tapas.
I'm in the wrong part of France.
Bring me 3 olives and some little pieces of bread.
Secret squirrel.
Give me some grape juice and some sliced ham.
I surrender.
Tapas. What the fuck is going on?
See.
There were good games coming out. Like, I mean, some of the Xbox ones, kind of stuff coming out looks good. Crackdown, obviously, was always going to look good.
Sorry, I'll put my pants
with that. Obviously, Sea of Thieves looks fun. I think not being a big multiplayer guy, I'm not sure.
This is the problem I've got with it. It would be amazing if I could staff a team up with bots and just play through, explore the world. Yeah. I know I can't do that, and I don't rely enough on my gaming friends. I don't trust them enough to stick with that game for long.
I could shoot you with a torpedo from across the map if that's any good.
That works.
Yeah. Right.
It's one of only 2 times I've played Battlefront with a friend rather than just with random people. You and Aaron, frequent E14 contributor, has his own bit on the page now.
Hello, Aaron.
Hello, Aaron.
Fella.
Yeah, the games I was getting most excited for were games that were new-looking experiences, like the EA's one. What's it called? It was the prison game where you played it co-op. Is it
something called like the way
Porch
out?
Porn Simulator.
It's something like a long way out or something, or an easy way out.
The co-op prison.
Long way out, long way in, long way out, long way into porn simulator.
Yeah.
Porch porn simulator.
Porn. Yeah. Prisons have porches, right?
Ultimate porch porn simulator
Predator
2018.
That sounds terrible. There's a predator on the porch.
I love your decking.
I want to give you a damn good decking. Over here.
Where it meets the wisteria.
Last Halloween, this kid came up to my door dressed as the monster from the movie Predator. I said, "That's cute. What are you?" His dad said, "He's a child predator." I said, "Well, I'll just leave that there."
Wrong podcast.
Not happening. Stop trying to make the paedophile cast happen. It's not going to happen. Yes. The prison game sounds interesting. Anthem looks cool.
Yep.
One thing that drives me up the wall about E3, and I don't know if you guys have noticed this as well, whenever you watch a gameplay video and they do TeamSpeak, it's always very forced and hokey and matter of fact, because you know in a real TeamSpeak game like in the game of the Division, 9 times out of 10 me and my mates aren't even talking about the fucking game. We're talking about something else, like I heard so and so's not talking to him, what a pillock, like Dan the other fucking right, you pillock. That sort of thing. But they're always like, oh, I'm gonna just invite Dave, he could use the XP. And I was like, on the one hand, stop it. On the other hand, if XP is the currency in the game, fine. Yeah. And if it's actually like XP is what you buy and sell with, that would be awesome. That would actually be kind of innovative. It kind of reminds me that, they get the infomercial adverts where it shows people not being able to, oh my God, use a blanket. Yeah. That's kind of the way, it's the opposite. Has this ever happened to you and they've just wrapped it around their own throat? Yeah, it's almost like, I can't blanket. I'm going to switch to my blood and do the, because you actually get those comedy videos of people playing games and reacting like that. I can't wear this blanket, it's not giving me enough XP. The blanket's a +1 armour. Yeah.
But, that does need to start. I think the only one, apart from the odd release dates, that game, I think the only other game that I went, oh, that looks kind of cool, is the new game from Supermassive guys behind Until Dawn, which is looked like Until Dawn, but with crime related. Yeah, it's like but it has other people playing with you. Other people, rather than people shouting, like playing in groups and shouting or what to do. Yeah, they can vote with their phones.
Oh, that's awesome!
I actually said so. You could have a group. You could have a group evening. You can play it on your own. Yeah. That's the thing. It is just an optional thing, but it just makes the experience a bit more. And make an evening of it. With
I've said it before that I think the future of gaming is extending beyond the screen. Yeah, because we've done not all we can do on screen, but when things are starting to look photorealistic.
You hit the uncanny valley. And,
and it won't be long until we've got like the graphics of Rogue One in a game. Mm-hmm. So when we've got like Tarkin and Leia and that, as good as that we can animate as we move left, that character moves left. That'll happen at some point soon, right? And then what? And I've said stuff like Skylanders, which extend maybe not exactly that, but where you get a figure that you collect off the screen,
the augmented reality stuff.
Just that when I finish playing my game. I've got something else, and it's something like Skylanders. It's a toy dragon to play with as a kid, or to collect, and I think that's the future. So playing on your phone. Yeah,
there is a special word for that type of game with the collectible stuff. I can't think what it's called.
Plastic crack.
Plastic crack. Plastic crack games. Yeah.
Because there's a new one that Ubisoft announced with like. Spaceships that you build, which when you put stuff on it, I think that gives them upgrades and all that sort of thing. Okay. It's like a spaceship. It's a spaceshipy. It looked a bit more. Well, I think it's a bit more dumbed down, but a bit like sort of
Toys to Life. It's called
Toys to Life.
Okay. That's cool. There will always be sit down, play the thing on the screen with the controller or the keyboard. Or whatever. But I think that there'll be a massive surge into. Nintendo may well lead it because they started going.
They started doing the amiibos and all that.
No, but even before that, you sit down and play with your thumbs, we want you to wave your arms. Even that is a stretch, and I think that Nintendo will be the one to go, this is the next step for die-hard gamers.
I think the problem is for some hardcore gamers, I think, sometimes they try these things and they don't work, and I think that's why I think a lot of it, everyone goes, well, you keep trying all these things, but at the end of the day, a pad works.
Absolutely, yeah. I
think that's why a lot of motion controls are normally aimed towards like the either party games, which is fine. That's great. Yeah. And they have their place. Don't get me wrong. But I was thinking if you're playing a dedicated, like say you're playing like the next Zelda or the next, or it sounds great that to actually I know they did it with Wii, like waving the sword to swing your sword and that sort of thing.
Well, it goes back further to like Rumble Packs. Yeah, that was groundbreaking. The fact that when you crash your car, and that's what I'm talking. The next step in that has got to come soon. Yeah. Whether it's you read those, they call them like emotive TVs, which have a light around them.
Oh, yeah,
so
no,
that
fine,
as
yeah.
you're watching like a burning building,
it goes red.
It's crackling and going
It's
red
all-
behind
the colour
you.
extends to
It
the
brings your
colour
room
red.
to life. And I think that
Did
might
you see the prototype that Microsoft did, which is called Illuma Room? And the idea was that it extended your TV's boundaries onto the wall and actually projected onto the wall around your TV. So your Forza car wouldn't just be the front cockpit; it would also be the side windows.
Stuff.
But they'd be on
That's
the
cool
wall.
unless you live in a small flat.
But even then, it scales down.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. You'd
But
find
I mean,
a way. But you'd need to see, like where my TV is. My TV's on a chimney stack.
Yeah.
Right. And there is about 8 inches left and right. Now, so to
Oh
do
my.
that, would I have to buy a smaller TV so there's more room left and right?
That's what you mean,
That's what's got to be conquered. But
Yeah.
stuff like that. Things that not even necessarily like a
Well, I
viable toy or something, but something that extends beyond the room.
Yeah.
Or when I finish playing, I'm still playing. Grand Theft Auto did like a stock market thing, right?
Yeah.
On your phone, stuff like that.
Or like,
I think that's the other annoyance is
companion apps
that
and stuff.
they always
Yeah,
assume
yeah.
everybody's household is exactly the same. It's a bit like half the reason I haven't invested in VR is because I went, well, this will be a massive cock.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a pain in the arse
But
to
somebody will crack
set
that.
up in my house.
Somebody will crack that.
I still
know.
want them to put HoloLens into the mass market because the HoloLens thing is augmented reality.
It
So,
looks very good. I mean,
yeah.
they demoed a bit last year with like Minecraft.
Yeah,
and
so they showed
that sort
a
of thing.
Minecraft thing that he was actually projecting onto the table,
Oh, cool.
and it was creating the world from the table
that he was
upwards. Yeah, that he was in. So he was sort of looking at it from almost like a god perspective,
Yeah.
watching another player walk around the world,
Oh, okay.
and then he would be able to sort of interact with the different components and sort of zoom in on it. And
Well, they've already done. Have you seen? So there was a TV show ages and ages ago where they did like ancient warfare recreations,
yeah,
and you could. They had like and it was obviously put in post production, but they had a holographic table, and they would pick up. Oh, take my archers and put it over here,
right.
And you'd be
What
able
was
to
that
like.
bloody thing called? Yeah, that's the one that used it used bloody Total War engine.
Yes,
Oh,
that
did
was it.
Okay.
But then in post production, they'd have like a hologram on
Yeah.
the table that people would.
But they actually thought about bringing it back for like a special or something.
Yes, that was it. Yeah, it was really fun. It was Channel 4 or something like that.
Yeah, I can't remember what it's called. It's like
But
it's like Time Masters
that
or something, or
technology-
Time something.
Yeah.
That technology to be able to sculpt a hologram is real.
Yeah.
So you could, let's say, you before the battle, you're making the hill that they're going to fight.
Yeah.
You actually like slide your hand over it, and it's like polystyrene balls moving out of your way.
Yeah.
You sculpt the table. That's real now. That's happening. So me and you, and that extends. That actually bridges the gap between computer gaming and tabletop gaming.
Yeah, for sure.
Because we're now using a computer, so we set up a table, right, there's the hill, blah, blah, blah. Now I'm going to click a button, I'm going to generate my soldiers and put them here.
Yeah.
And then, when instead of like, rolling a dice, moving my figures 4 inches forward, they would move forward there, and then you would watch them fight.
Yeah.
And see the individual men clash swords.
I've said for years that would be the ultimate MMO, would be a Games Workshop one.
Yeah.
Like that. So you can sort of design the maps. Like you could have a kind of
Design your own
like a
terrain.
multiplayer online
It
in
would
terms
bleed
of like
so many
competitive
different
battling.
genres of crowd. That would be like, you could do RPG style, you could do like
Yeah.
Dungeons and Dragons.
Pathfinder
with it.
style, yeah.
Yeah, Pathfinder, stuff
Yeah.
like that. I've seen somebody actually doing Imperial Assault, the
Yes.
um,
Star Wars one.
Yeah, the Star Wars ground combat game.
Yes.
With an LCD screen set into their table, so that instead of getting because that you make
Getting
the
the
map by
tiles
getting
out.
tiles
Yeah.
out, they just like double click and slide them around like jigsaws, and
Yeah.
then or you just save a picture
The
of the
tiles
map
are
for that
just-
mission. You
yeah.
click and you got it all on the table.
Yeah.
And you would have doors opening and closing and stuff like.
It does
if
cut
you
down
could make
on the
that
setup
3D,
time, I suppose. Yeah.
yeah, make that 3D, and so that you never actually have to touch the figures.
Yeah.
Um,
Ugh.
you,
Touch the figures.
dirty figure
Ugh.
touches. Obviously, that kills the paint.
Dirty
Well, that's
figure
what I'm
touches.
saying.
But-
Which does awful things to your other
Yeah,
brain.
can't sleep. Yeah,
Can't sleep.
can't sleep. Must
Well-
stare at a screen.
The new page is just called "Can't Sleep." Well, fuck.
But then again, that's probably the next step. Oh God, that would be amazing. So you get like I've played around with Joe Crouch's. I always
tablet.
call them doodle pad. Yes, a graphics
Yeah.
pad. I always call it a doodle pad for whatever reason. There are sculpting ones.
Yeah.
But can you imagine actually? So when I sculpt, it comes up on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
But can you imagine actually taking a lump of digital clay,
Oh wow.
sculpting it in your
Yeah.
hands, being able to feel
I
it,
feel like if this stuff
and then paint it?
isn't, if this stuff isn't on the market now, it's because it's too expensive for market now. But it's,
that's
it's got to
probably
be
like
being
Star
worked on.
Trek
Yeah.
looking stuff.
We got
You know.
the futuristic dystopia. We just traded up the instant teleportation for things like being able to download whatever we want from space.
Absolutely, yeah. Oh, that's like that argument of like, oh, people are on their phones all the time. They're connected to the rest of the fucking world.
Exactly.
That's why.
Yeah.
It's great.
It's amazing.
I love seeing people stare at their phones because I know there's a chance they're just talking bullshit and looking at pictures of soup.
Yeah.
I don't know why I picked that.
And 9 times out of 10, they
Horses
probably
being
are.
yelled
Yeah,
at.
but at the same time, they could be contacting their person they've never spoken to before across the world that they're making some vital connection with that can do great things. Or they're learning what fucking animal eats the coffee beans that they shit out and use as a bread. You know, that sort of shit that we've always done. Like looking up,
Cut the cross
just
and
learning,
back.
constantly learning. It's great.
Yeah.
Or they could be listening to this podcast.
They could.
Or they'd be
They could
something
doing
wrong
both.
with them.
They could be looking things up and listening to this
Exactly.
podcast.
Yeah, do
Yeah.
both.
What the hell are these games they're talking
Yeah.
about?
I had a mental crash the other day listening
Why
to
can't
you
I remember
on
the
a
names to
podcast.
any of them?
I was listening to you, and I think it was the Talk Star Wars podcast, and I then text you to say, like, oh, that thing you came up with was really good. And as you text me back, I read your voice, I read the words in your voice, if you know what I mean, whilst listening to you say something completely different.
Your brain
And my
crash.
brain just fried. I was washing up, and I just like was holding this
Double
glass going,
Rob.
yeah. I couldn't, because I'm like, oh my god, Rob's saying two things in my head, and I froze up. It was so weird.
Yeah, the one that always gets me is obviously I'm used to being on. I'm on obviously a fair few shows between E14 and
Show
Talk Star
off.
Wars. I've guested on a couple of
Yeah.
shows where I can, and I enjoy that sort of thing, and it's fun, you know. But I often find myself now listening to a show and wanting to interject and knowing that I can't, and going,
Oh, this one's done now.
yeah. But that to me is like the mark of a good. That's my benchmark for a good show. How much would I love to be on this one?
Yeah.
Like if I'm listening to it, I'm just like, I want to talk.
I always
on this.
find even better than that is like a debate style podcast.
Right.
Whereas like, you know, Crazy Train's more about like, here's some things we say.
Yeah.
When they're debating an opinion or, you know, a theory for a movie or something like that. And you go, yeah, but what if it was blue instead of red?
Yeah.
Right? And then they'll talk about it 3 minutes and somebody will go, yeah, but what if it was blue instead of red? And you go, oh, not only did you do that, you actually covered my point as well.
Yeah.
Because you want to write in, but it's going to be the next week. And if you're a few episodes behind, they're never going to catch up with
Yeah.
you. But when they actually do think of all the things that you think of as well, that's when I truly love a podcast.
Yeah, it's when they just
when they
have
hit a
when it's
thought that
organically hit a thought.
Especially if they're missing something.
Right.
If it was like, you know, you're watching a movie with 5 people racing cars, right? And they mention 4 names and they're talking about it. And I'm going, what about Steve? What about Steve?
Yeah.
What about Steve, the guy in the 5th car? What about? And then somebody goes, oh, we're forgetting about Steve in the 5th car.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, you did get that thing I was
helped.
going to berate you about. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just get a
Flame
kick
them in
out
the
of that.
comments just
Yeah.
because reasons. Hitler. You
So
forgot about Steve.
games.
Yeah, I was going to say, so those games.
Games. So there was nothing. Like I say, there was nothing.
We've had the derailment
There was
podcast.
nothing earth-shattering for me. There was a
Not
few
really.
a few bits and pieces I'd quite happily buy, but there's nothing that made me go, "Oh my god, I have to have it." Except Shadow of War because I want that game, and it's been just the right amount of time since Shadow of Mordor.
Yeah.
So I want another one like Mordor.
I couldn't really click with Shadows Mordor as much as I wanted to, but it might be time to revisit it with something new coming.
Yeah, Shadow of War is basically more of the same, but on a grander scale. So it's like
Okay,
you're
that sounds good for
you're
me then.
attacking bigger
I
bases.
think
and
when I
bigger characters
wanted
and
Shadow
stuff.
of Mordor, I was thinking it was going to be a bigger scale, so that could be pretty cool.
Yeah, well, so that's this year, so
Yeah, awesome.
probably
Keep my eyes on that.
October time. There's not a lot going on in November, December. Looking at the dates, Battlefront 2 is the last one, and then
I
it goes
think
quiet.
Nino Cooney's November.
Oh, is it? Yeah.
But with
Wow.
money being the way it is as well, like people are kind of going.
That's okay.
Yeah, get it in October to give to somebody for Christmas.
Yeah, because actually, when I used to work in games retail, it was October and November were absolutely hammered for
Yeah.
releases.
Yeah, you don't release in December. You let
was-
people get used
Yeah,
to it
December was hammered for
when you bought it.
foot traffic.
Yeah,
Obviously,
but it could
also,
be
like-
now that people are going to go and put a deposit on something.
Yeah, but the end
It's a
of the
bit
year.
like the new,
Knowing they've
the
already
new
got
COD
it,
is
because
always in the early part of November.
If,
isn't it?
if I'm
exactly,
talking 55 quid for a game
Hmm.
and I've not got a ton of money, how if I spend that in November when the game comes out
Yeah,
and then I can't afford the turkey? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
So maybe release it in October, get it, put it in the cupboard, and then in November you've got another 50 quid you can spend
Yeah.
on the other bits for the other kid or for, you know.
yeah.
Well, no, that's good though. But,
That's
I've always,
great.
but at the same time, I'm also like, when
Omer had it tough, guys.
Yeah.
You know, some days
Yeah.
you can't even afford to heat the pool.
Just me and my little peas.
Your poverty piece.
My poverty peas. Is it?
Call the cross and bag.
I can't hear that song anymore. Thanks.
Well,
No.
the Poddington piece.
Thanks
that's it.
for
Oh, so you do
that.
admit it was fucking real?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
only
only ever
now.
did fuck with you. I was well aware it was a thing.
Yeah, I know how much you fuck with me. Don't worry about that. I was on board.
That's what the crazy train's for.
Nobody's on board.
Being on board.
Everybody's off board and climbing around on the ceiling.
Everybody's half board.
Sticking their finger in the steam.
Crazy Train's the weirdest hotel in the world. Everybody's half board.
I know, I'm always half cut.
Yeah, but the new...
I'm never bored on the Crazy Train. Or here, to be honest.
Yeah. Anyway, games.
Games. Yeah.
Shall I just leave and you can talk about games?
He's your lift, isn't he?
No, I'm his
No,
lift.
I'm his
Sorry,
left. Please don't me.
I am here, but I am home alone. But I don't think it's like Top and Tails time. Or maybe it's that, but I don't think you want to be Little Spoon.
Yeah.
You're probably not used to that being 6'4".
Yeah.
Got to be like the battle of the big spoons. It'd be like two fucking ladles. It'd be like two ladles just cracking into each other. Imagine that. That's how you two would have sex.
Wow. Thanks for that.
We're not finished with you yet.
I've always wondered.
I'm ruining this podcast.
Let me ladle it on you.
Go on, talk about games. I dare you. Fuck you.
So I had one question actually in the sort of mailbag format, which if you want to email in, you can email in to podcast@emotionally14.com. You can tweet us at emotionally14 or comment on Facebook. If you could pick a job from a game, maybe not one of the obvious ones like Jedi or something like that, what would you pick? And from what game?
Can it be a kind of fantastical job?
Of course. It's a game card.
Because I'm thinking like Skyrim, the difference between like
I'm not good with this.
a greybeard or that guy who runs the trading hut. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one. Oh, a job. Oh. I'm trying to think through some franchises. Because it's hard to not just be
I'm trying to think
picking a
of-
franchise like a Star Wars game where you could be a cool mechanic or a gunner or something. But
Yeah.
I was trying-
That's it. You can be fine with those.
yeah. I'm just trying to
basically-
think of something a little bit
trying.
more.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
A game
I'm
that
trying
is a
to steer
game
you
without
guys
having a
away from
movie
going
attached
for
to it.
Yeah.
main character.
I'm
jobs.
trying to think.
Dragonborn's too easy. Like.
Yeah.
Privileged
No, I was
motherfuckers.
thinking, even though I know it's a sort of, it is technically already an existing style of job.
Right.
Um,
Red shirt. From
no,
Bridge
I
Crew.
I was thinking.
That's a point, actually. Did
I
you-
was thinking like
have
the
you
police
played-
detective, but the police detective from Heavy Rain.
Okay.
So with like
With the
the,
tech- with the cool tech
futuristic
stuff.
glasses and
Out of interest,
types of-
playing Bridge Crew VR must be tough for you, right?
Yeah,
It must be short.
This is why I've not taken the plunge on VR. There just hasn't been my game
No.
yet. It's a,
Red shirt simulator.
yeah, there's no admin simulator.
Yeah, could you fix that world, please, mate? It looks a little bit testy. Yeah, no problem, Captain.
Yeah.
Please respawn.
Yeah. See, this is why Battlefront's me. I'm happy to be a
Yeah, you'd be a grunt. That's all good.
Grunt, yeah.
See, there's no Star Trek with Battlefront, is there?
That'd be weird. It'd be never ending. It'd just be loads and loads of reds pumping out and out and out and out. First two, 900 points wins. How many have you got? 3. I've killed 1,000 people. They don't count.
Yeah.
I like the way you almost deliver.
Yeah, yeah,
the
it's
style
like-
as well.
Yeah.
They
Oh, it's
don't
like
count.
it's like Titanfall, but the red shirts are just like the AI guys that don't really give you any points.
1 XP.
Yeah.
So, how many do I need to level up? 4,000.
Yeah. Just wail on them.
I'm gonna kill balls.
You need to kill them and then contact their family and suck up the morning.
live to win. That's one of my favourite episodes of South Park.
Oh, let me think.
It's almost going to be the end
So-
of the world of Warcraft.
I've always thought, like, again, it was hark about the one game I always play is World of Tanks, right? I always think that game, because you get like Russian
Can't
tanks
be a
fighting
tank.
alongside British tanks and
Yeah.
American tanks and German tanks,
Not allowed to be a
it's not a
tank.
World War fight.
Yeah.
So I always see it as some kind of like tank warfare, robot wars.
Okay.
Okay.
That would be an awesome job. Because you'd obviously be at danger of death. But if you win a few battles and your
So
tank
your
survives
ideal
that-
job is a tank robot war driver.
Yeah. Apparently there's an anime called
sorry.
Girls and Panzer, which is that kind of premise that schools, I don't know well, but apparently like schools have a tank each and the schools fight each other.
Okay.
Like, like American football,
Yeah.
kind of like that sort of thing. So yeah, like
Go
tank
white
commander
tanks.
of a tank robot wars.
Tanketeers, stand
Tanketeer.
by.
That'd be cool. If that's not a thing, I'm going to create it.
All right.
That's a pretty cool. I did actually come up with a tabletop game on that
I
premise.
don't see
once.
why
I
they
just
couldn't
couldn't
that.
suss it out.
Apart from being overly expensive, I can't
Well,
see why
you'd,
they
ha-
couldn't
you'd,
make the program.
you'd have to tweak it to something like laser tag. You wouldn't be able to use live ammo.
But they do tank.
Ideally not.
But that's the fun.
Well, that's the thing. They do. They
not
do
got much
there's
replay
there is
value,
such a
so
thing
yeah.
as tank paintball, where
Absolutely,
people
yeah,
control
yeah.
tanks.
Yeah.
firing
Or
paint.
it could even be a VR thing. The tank drivers aren't in any tanks. They're sitting in rooms in separate rooms around the world. Driving
a bit
these
like
tanks
that
with VR headsets on,
they
plugged
did a
in like
VR
Matrix.
version of Battlezone on PSVR.
That's the way the game could be, because the game gives no premise to why all these tanks are fighting. But when you've got tanks that were on opposite sides of the war fighting on a team, it's clearly not World War II then, is it? You didn't get 7-on-7 7-minute matches in World War II.
No, it's true.
It would have been much easier if it had. I'm sure like the crews would have been scary, but the war would have been a lot quicker and less bloody.
Yeah, possibly. Depends on when.
So yeah, I
when
want to
the
be a
Russians
tank
got involved,
commander. That'd be awesome for a sport tank.
And they didn't teabag the losers.
yeah. It's a bit hard to teabag somebody in a tank, Blake. The tracks don't
You
go
ain't
up
played
and down.
World War. You ain't played World of Tanks like I've played World of Tanks.
World of Teabag Tanks. What about you, Blake?
Didn't I have my answer?
With red shirt, right?
It's a grunt.
No, I was saying like the detective.
Sorry, yeah, the futuristic detective. That's right.
What about you? What do you think? Your opinion, Maz.
Yeah, right.
Let's just talk
God,
over
you sound
it.
like my mom. You don't. I don't know if it'd be cool to be like there's actually games built around this premise now. You can play as the shopkeeper in a town in an RPG.
Oh, okay.
So like the idea is that you
You're
got to
the
sell
NPC.
the most stuff to the adventurers as they come
Oh,
past and
awesome.
stuff like that. There's loads of, it's quite
Shopkeep.
a quite a popular mobile game premise, and like I think Steam,
think
there's
it's
some
on
like
Steam,
indie
yeah.
Steam,
That's pretty cool.
indie Steam games, probably on Switch as well.
I've seen there's a lot of games, not simulators. You got like rubbish sweep, road sweep simulator, but there's games that like saw Robo's playing My Summer Car,
right.
which is basically you are doing up a retro car,
Okay.
and you don't have all the parts.
Yeah.
So you have to go and buy
Pour
them,
yourself.
but you have to do jobs to do that.
Oh
and
my
you have
God.
a van, so you take a job as a delivery driver, delivering stuff around this village, and it's all 3D. The graphics aren't spectacular.
How amazing would it be if it was a total bait and switch and you had to pimp yourself out?
Yeah.
And it was just
But that's the
you
thing, you can
looking-
spend more
you
time-
I
looking
thought it was
forward.
like I thought you'd have the money, but you would have to go to a breaker's yard and break off the part
That
you
would be
want.
fun.
Yeah, I'd be more
Breaker's
interested in
Yard
that
Simulator.
than what is secretly Van Driver Simulator.
Yeah.
and-
In a
But then
guise.
eventually you get to do it, and not expansions, but like the game has got bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
And you get motorbikes that you can do up and stuff. But it's in depth without being in depth. So like, there's a button for flipping people the middle finger.
Nice.
You can drink beer, so you can get drunk, and it affects your ability to
Sounds
drive.
like a Stone Cold
but
Steve
you
Austin
have to
simulator.
you have to sleep.
I'm driving
It's-
a van.
it's
Drink
like-
beer and flick the bird.
It's like a life simulator with a very finite goal.
And a very finite character.
Yeah, but no, you have to sleep, you have to eat, you have to piss.
I'm driving a goddamn van.
Because the guy I watch do it always pisses as he's driving. He drinks and drives constantly, and then
Yeah.
pisses out of the window.
Dun, dun,
And there's
dun,
one.
You can go home and lose your job by beating up Deborah.
Yeah. There's a load of NPCs. There's like that was what made me think is the shopkeepers and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And there's one guy who drives around in. It looks like a little green mini metro, but I don't know if it's an in-game joke or an accident, but. Or it might be randomly generated and there's this version of this guy playing it. I've seen it. It looks like Adolf Hitler. So every time he passes him on the road, he's like, "It's fucking Hitler! He's alive and he lives in a small town in Finland." Maybe.
Might work.
He has to be
Maybe. I'm not
somewhere.
saying he doesn't.
If he's not dead, he has to be somewhere.
Yeah, this is true. These are facts.
So I want a job as a van driver building a car.
You want Stone Cold Steve Austin?
I want to be Stone Cold Steve Austin.
These are alt facts or alt right facts.
Okay. Yeah, I think like either that or some like a quartermaster in like a Halo game or something. One who's just like responsible for the coolest kit.
Yeah.
Like the one who's just like, "Here you go, Master Chief. Here's your gun." And he's like, "Yeah, cool," and goes off and fucks shit up.
Yeah,
And you're just stood there like, "I hope he does well. I like that guy." John, I
Now
like
back to
John.
admin, Mr.
Since he was
Redger.
a boy.
I like John. Right, to put these requisitions in. I'm one gun short. Damn it, Chief.
I forgot he can dual wield.
Who's been
Son
putting
of a bitch.
Who's been putting stick grenades in all of these goddamn boxes around enemy territory? I love when you get that
And we'll pay-
computer game logic sometimes. Isn't
Yeah.
it? Like some things are just.
There's one job I
inexcusable.
wouldn't want to do, and that's red barrel delivery man. Don't drop this.
We
whatever
need,
you
we
do.
need more
What
barrels
happens?
everywhere. What happens? They just explode.
Can
What
you
are we
put
using
that
for?
near the
Exploding?
fire arrows, please. Are you
You
sure?
sure this is a good idea?
I mean, it's your. I'm not telling you how to run your base, mate. I'm just,
Do you want to put this next to the things you're trying to protect, or
sure.
could you put these underneath that sentry tower, please?
Could you make this cover
Will you go out and feed the immortal chickens from Zelda, please?
Oh, that's my dream job. I want to be one of the angry villagers from Skyrim when you kick a chicken.
So one of the Whiterun guards.
Yeah. No, not the guard, just one
No?
of the villagers
Okay.
that killed me the first time I
Take
played
an arrow
that
to
game.
the neck.
Couldn't go back to the first town for like in-game months. Because I was like, first time I played a game like that, and I was like, cool, chicken, I'm going to punch it.
Yeah.
And I hit it, and the whole town killed me. Of course, I had no skills. It was just 4 guys hitting me with sticks.
It's like Morris dancing extreme.
Welcome to the
I
Sweet
just like the idea that the white one guy will get like, you punch the chicken, either go to jail or pay the price.
Pay
Or
the
die.
chicken. Pay the
Well, the
chicken
thing is, I had to
toll.
kill like 1 or 2 of them to get away from them. So by the time I got to the next town, I got arrested.
Yeah.
And that was actually how I got into the town for the next mission. I woke up in the jail, making good impression on the Jarl.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. Hi.
Hello.
I'm Mr. Chicken Punter.
Oh, that's actually Brad once shared a comic to me. Like, it's the Jarl from Whiterun, the first map, and that's a good job.
Whiterun.
It's
That's
Whiterun,
what
that's
we're
it.
after.
Yeah, it's the Jarl from there where he's like, "This guy's fucking shown up. I need to get rid of him. I'll send him to kill this dragon. Oh my god, he's eating its soul. He's just eaten 40 cabbages right in front of me. I need to get this man away from my children."
Yeah, video game logic, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. Cool. Well, that's some good answers, I think.
good.
Yeah.
I like
All right. Well, it's getting late.
It
at
is.
This, at
Well,
this
it's-
end.
yeah,
and
it's
it's
quite
hot
late,
as
yeah.
fuck. So let's
Getting warmer, even though the
let's
sun is no
let's
longer
put a
with us.
fork in this because it is probably going to leak juices.
Yeah,
That
I
got
might
away
let
from me.
rip another massive fart
Yeah.
soon. So
All
For
right.
more
Well,
knowledge about him, check out episode 51 when it comes out.
yeah. I tell you what, do that. If you can give me the timestamp of my fart, I'll send you the
Another
underwear I
fart.
just ruined.
branded Crazy Train ruined underwear. So thank you very much for listening to the E14 Gamecast. I've been Rob Wade. I've been joined by Blake Harmer and Omer Abraham.
Hello.
Hello.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
So if you've enjoyed the show, you can like, share, rate, subscribe on iTunes. You can also find the Crazy Train podcast, which is the other podcast we do, the main show. We do it a weird way around. Most people start with subject matter and then do the fuck around show as a spin-off, but we do it the
but
other
the
way
fuck
around.
around show
We
is all
started
we've
with the
got.
Rock Around show and then
always
we
the
went,
premise.
oh, maybe we should talk about other things.
Maybe we should fuck around on both shows
Maybe
because
there's
I
too
missed
much
it.
games on this. We'll have its own show. It's like, yeah, sure enough. Here it is. So thank you for listening. And if you want to interact with us on social media, you can tweet at Emotionally14. You can go to facebook.com/Emotionally14. We have a youtube.com/c/Emotionally14. You can reach us on Stitcher, iTunes, Feedburner.
Just
People
Google
who
it.
still use that.
It'll probably pop
Google
up.
Emotionally14, and it is the first result from
Type
us.
it into your Xbox.
Type that into it. Yeah.
I don't know what. Like
Yeah,
just
type it.
Xbox emotionally 14.
Yeah.
Hey, Cortana.
The other day my Xbox wasn't
No,
listening
it's-
to me,
I've
so
got
I
one.
said my Xbox wasn't listening to me, so I said Xbox, go fuck yourself, and it came up with my friends list, which was currently empty.
Touche.
Yeah.
Xbox.
It's like Xbox, go fuck yourself. You have no friends.
Well, shit.
At least I can go fuck myself.
I'm not finished with me yet.
Explore. So, you can also email us at podcast@emotionally14.com. Guys, where can people find you on social media?
You can find me on Twitter at fuck's sake Blake.
Nice.
You can find me on Facebook.
It's funny every time.
I'm still happy with
And
it.
I've even though there's no pictures on it at the moment, I have recently joined Instagram at Harmer the Appreciator.
Nice.
We
Omen?
need to get a picture up there of you.
Yeah, we do.
I don't know,
Even if
do
it's just one that says AMA.
yeah,
Like it's
just
Twitter.
that.
It's Twitter literally just has one tweet.
I am
AMA.
Yeah.
on Facebook as me. Come find me, say hello. I am on Facebook as Can't Sleep Must Paint, a page for all my miniature painting, lighting thing. I've got a cool little project where I've put lights in like the Millennium Falcon stuff, and I'm about to do an X-Wing, which is a
Intricate.
tiny little miniature. The LEDs are 1 millimeter long.
Wow.
I'm about to start that soon. I'm going to try and chronicle each step, which would be pretty cool.
Nice.
So you can keep up with that. Can't Sleep Must Paint on Facebook and Can't Sleep Must Paint on Instagram. Go and leave pictures of Braun Strowman on my Twitter, and I'll check it out.
At the Iron Turk Omer.
Yep, I don't even read. You know that address better than I do.
It's 'cause I tag
Then I
you
can
in
just
things
look at
occasionally,
pictures of
nobody
Braun
knows.
Strowman telling me he's not done with me yet in about a year.
Cool.
Yeah, cool. Check all
Nice.
that shit out.
So you can find me on Twitter at Rob Wade Vision. I'm also on Instagram at Rob Wade Vision. I tweet about all sorts of shit.
Yep.
Star Wars, video games, HeroClix, the works. I do Instagram is pretty similar.
Mhm.
And like I say, Emotionally14 on the web, emotionally14.com, Facebook, YouTube, iTunes, Twitter.
Do it.
the works.
Google.
So thanks for listening. Bye.
Google me.
Games.